Hey, 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 happy Valentine's Day and welcome to episode number 1 of Keeping It Realtor with Terrill Carlson. I am Terrill Carlson with Remax Town and Country. Hope your Valentine's Day is going amazing. I am super excited to start this podcast here. I've got some amazing guests lined up for this year. I'm excited to share with you guys. And one thing I want to let you guys know about this podcast is this is my very first venture into a podcast, complete DIY. I'm learning as I go. No AI, no fluff, no filters, obviously. I'm having contact trouble, so I'm kind of winking tonight. And I'm ready to do it. This podcast has actually been in the works for about a year. Probably over a year since about when I started my real estate career, and thought it was a good idea at age 55 to start a brand new career in a new town, small, rural, gorgeous North Georgia mountain town where I knew absolutely nobody. So I reached out to a mentor, businessman extraordinaire, and a friend, Jamie DiDomenico, and reached out for advice on things to do, advertising, marketing for my career. I worked with him for years and I had a successful sales career in HVAC. And he said my magic lied in my personality. And that is something I was not going to be able to convey in a billboard. He said a podcast is what you got to do. Well, got out of my head, let the fear fall aside, and here I am a year later with my first episode of Keeping It Realtor with Terrill Carlson. This episode right here is going to be mainly about me, so you're in luck. You're going to get to learn a little bit about me. And like I mentioned before, I've got some amazing guests lined up for this year that I think you're going to dig. And tonight, a little weird, different, fun, easy, whatever on Valentine's Day, which love, I'm all about love. My gorgeous, amazing, my Valentine, Michelle Carlson, is going to throw some random questions at me. And according to her, it's going to help you get to know me. So fire away, Michelle.
Well, hello, everyone. I am the behind-the-scenes girl, so...
Yeah, without her, oof.
Well... I cannot think of a better day to launch a podcast than Valentine's Day because, especially a real estate podcast, because
absolutely,
buying a house is basically like dating.
100%.
You swipe through the listings, fall in love, ignore the red flags, and hope and pray for a happy ending.
That's it.
Well, I'm just going to ask some fun, like icebreaker questions, like some fun Valentine themed.
And I'm sure put me on the spot here or there, but that's all part of the jam. That's all part of the jam.
Absolutely. You betcha. Okay. Question number 1. What is your worst first date experience with a house?
Worst first date experience with a house was probably a listing appointment, pre-listing appointment, and it was with a fellow realtor, and I don't know what was going on in these beds in this house, but there was something going down in these beds in this house, and it wasn't just sleeping. We were in there and out of there quicker than it took us to drive to the house.
Is that the one with the fence?
No, that's a whole other story.
All right. If you could sell a house to any, I don't want to say, singer, band, musician. Let's say musician.
All right. I love music.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. So many. I'd bring a few back from the dead, but first off the top of my head would be Matt Johnson from a band that I've been a fan of since the 40 years, since I was in high school, believe it or not. I'm not old, yep. I was actually blessed to see Matt Johnson and a couple months ago in Atlanta. And just seems like an amazing, down-to-earth human being, incredibly social aware, and I think that's ginormous in today's environment.
Oh yeah, and of course getting to meet James.
Oh yeah, and he has killer taste, so the house he would pick out would be pretty banging.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a great choice. All right. What is your go-to closing gift for your buyers?
You know what? At this stage of the game, I don't have a complete go-to closing gift except Bear Breath Salsa, and that's for another time. I choose a closing gift for my client. Everybody has a different personality and different needs. Some are buying land, some are buying homes, some are building homes, and I kind of feel them out. Whoops, excuse me. People that don't live here, sometimes a gift a card to one of my favorite restaurants or something when they're up here checking out the town or something. It's a nice little token, but I
Like
try
to the roof?
like to the roof. Yep, the roof is a huge one. Everybody loves the roof. The roof is again for another story. But yeah, each closing gift is personal, and I don't want to be generic and hand out the same thing because you never know. They may not all like the same thing. So
Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. And if a home inspection was like a first date, what would be the biggest red flag?
that's another broad question, but I'm going to say one of the quickest is the red flag is mold. Smell of mold is just such a turn off. I mean, there are some things
The
that
worst.
home buyers can overlook, but for some reason, mold is very scary. So, and it is very scary.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with that. And I am now going to get down to the nitty gritty and get a little serious here on the getting to know Terrell part.
Getting to know
Getting to
you.
know, getting to know you. Okay.
Oh shoot, are we live? No, I'm just kidding.
All right. I think everybody wants to know, why did you decide to get into real estate?
Oh wow. Well, my wife and I, not because you don't know, because I'm going to tell you. My wife and I decided to leave the gorgeous state of Florida after 42 years for myself, 20 some for her, and we moved to this little pocket of awesomeness in North Georgia called Ellijay, and we were going to do a certain venture, and that venture just kind of didn't blossom the way we anticipated. So I was kind of at 55 trying to figure out what I should do. I've got a background in sales and customer service, and I love taking care of people, building relationships. People are, very cool, entertaining at the least. And, one day, just kind of talking about stuff, my wife said, you ought to look into real estate. And, my experience with real estate, besides having friends in real estate, selling our house in Florida, and buying our home in Georgia. So I wasn't really versed in it. And, I did a little bit of research and it looked like it could be something for me, especially where I live. Killer log cabins, gorgeous terrain, mountains, apple orchards. My surroundings, my environment are awesome. So why not look into selling little chunks of awesomeness? So got my license. In hindsight, I wouldn't do it online because out of the classroom setting for quite a few years, it took me a little, probably about a month longer than I anticipated taking the class online. And while I was studying and preparing for my license, I met a few people locally. One was an agent that sold my in-laws their house, and she said, "Oh, you ought to come work for our broker." And did a little bit of research, made a connection, and had an appointment with Molly McGrory, and the rest is history. Look her up; she's awesome.
Right on. Well,
I think the contact funk is getting to me. It needs a little love on this Valentine's evening. All right, next question. Next question.
okay. What is one piece of advice you wish every buyer knew?
One piece of advice every buyer knew. You know, honestly, the one piece of advice I wish every buyer knew that regardless of interest rates, regardless of elections, regardless of hurricanes, regardless of anything, the right time to buy a house is when you're ready. Plain and simple. And I wish every buyer knew that because they all do.
And I wish everyone was ready because it's home ownership is the American dream, right?
Absolutely, it sure is.
And everyone should own a home
Oh, 100%.
and stop making other people rich. Paying their mortgage.
Exactement. All right, next question.
All right. If you could buy a second home anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Where would it be? Well, you know, I haven't traveled to too many countries, and I've always Italy's on my bucket list, and I would love to have like a little chalet, villa, whatever in Italy, or somewhere that had just a killer surf break where I could just like wake up, have a cup of coffee, go dive in the ocean, surf, and then come right back in my house.
Ooh, that sounds good. I think I could live with that.
100%.
Okay, well, I'm on board. Okay. Funniest thing you've ever seen at a showing?
Well, this podcast has only got a few more minutes because I have seen some funny things in showings, even in my short-lived real estate career. But I gotta say, the funniest thing that I saw at a showing, and this one wasn't even a showing, this was a pre-listing. It was to check out a house to see if it was to be if the house was worth being listed. And I pulled up with another associate, and the house needed some work. And the biggest thing that struck me as strange was this house's chain link fence. The chain link fence was on the inside of the home, around all of the windows and all of the doors. Needless to say, we did not go inside, and needless to say, we did not get the listing. We did not take the listing.
Even though that was the early days.
The early days.
You still take any listing.
The early days, and I think if it didn't have the fence, I would have definitely taken the listing, but the fence was pretty scary.
Okay. And finally, what is the best part of being a realtor in North Georgia?
The people. People are absolutely amazing. I love people don't, at least for in my experience, in my career, people haven't had to come here for a reason. I mean, nobody got transferred for their job and they were forced to move here. Most people want to move here, want to have a vacation home here. They want to have an investment property here. The rewards are monstrous. And the biggest reward that comes from real estate, building the relationship, taking care of people is the lasting relationships. The clients that I have that reach out to me, ask for favors, share stories, share recipes, send me videos of their dogs, send me videos of the deer on their camera. It's just amazing that those relationships to continue. For those relationships to continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Building relationships.
All right, we were at 14 minutes. I knew 15 minutes was going to go fast. Let's close episode 1 up so we can keep these people back to their Valentines.
All right. We just have this fun little Valentine fun. It's love it or list it.
Love it or list it.
Okay,
Let's hear it, baby.
I'm just gonna real quick. Open concept homes.
Love it.
Right on. Clients who bring the whole family to showings.
Holy mackerel. That depends. I actually, quick side story. I had a showing. A gentleman called me from work. Said he had to finish up some things and he would meet me at the first house. So I'm at the first house. He pulls up in this white work van, which I thought was a work van. Gets out. We make the introductions. Yada yada yada. We go through the formalities. And he says to me, "Hey, do you mind if I get my wife and my children out?" And absolutely, go for it. Well, I watch the wife and a newborn get out of the car. Then I see him open the back door of the van and, a toddler pops out. And then 7 more kids got out. Yeah, don't bring your whole family to a showing.
We'll list that one. Okay. 1980s wallpaper is making a comeback. Love it or list it.
Situational. I've seen some retro 80s wallpaper in certain rooms, certain walls, and it looks pretty hot.
I agree. Right
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Buyers who lowball by $100,000 and expect to win.
Unless it's sold as is DIY house, absolutely not. They're not. No. No, no, no. They're not fun to work with. No, they are fun to work with, but it's just very challenging when they want to lowball so bad, and it's not going to land anywhere near.
Yeah, and it's just going to make everybody uncomfortable. All right. Homes with hidden panic rooms.
Very cool. Definitely.
Okay. And
Love it.
Last but not least, working with me as your marketing guru and staging assistant.
Working with my wife, Michelle Carlson, as my marketing guru, staging assistant, has been awesome. Can't wait to talk more about her staging, Dearly Beloved Designs. But it's amazing having someone to bounce ideas off of and take a lot of the load off the back end, because real estate is very time consuming, and especially when you want to excel and shine, knock it out of the park. And that's what I do, and that's what I want to do even better than I did yesterday. And it always helps to have a back end support.
That's right. You're my partner.
I'm her partner, and she's mine, and she is my Valentine. On that note, we are going to cut this short, and I do hope you enjoyed our goofiness, our silliness. And like I mentioned before, I do have some amazing guests this year lined up. March is going to be awesome, and I know you're going to want to tune into that one. So click the like button, subscribe, please and thank you. Peace and love, and keeping it Realtor.